You got to have a concise message, and right now that's too many messages. I just don't think this education and transgender issue is going to be a big issue for them. It's going to bring independents and others over to the Republican Party.
Now, there's a new messenger that seems to be catching a little bit of lightning in a bottle. RFK Jr., although...
He's a Republican, by the way.
Well, he's a Democrat, and he's in the Democrat primary.
His daddy was a Democrat. He's something else.
Okay, so listen, that's it. You raised that point. But Scott, he's getting some real attraction. I think the latest Quinnipiac had it like 71 to 14%. Clearly not a threat yet, but
that's
obviously
traction?
Drawing some attention.
I don't think that's traction, with all due respect. I think he's an annoyance. He's a distraction, if you will. If you listen to his policies, they seem to be rooted in anti-Semitism, and he's a conspiracy theorist and what have you. There's 14% because if you ask Democratic voters, do you want Biden to run again, they may not want him to run again because of age or what have you. But if you say if he's on the ballot against the Republican nominee, 95% of the Democrats are going to vote for Joe Biden. So you can't get distracted by RFK and his 14%. He's going nowhere. This is an annoyance.
How do you see it, Scott?
I dare say, not to disagree with you. I will offer you some friendly amendments. I think DeSantis' campaign is focusing on these state issues like Disney, like this investment piece that came out last week, and those aren't national issues. If you want to run for president, you have to run on you have to look presidential, you have to connect with voters and talk about national issues. He's failed to do that. I think on top of what you said, those are challenges as well. This whole issue of re-engineering or starting over, well, this is the big time. There's no room to start over if you're 6 months out and you had a launch, you had a lot of money. Well, his biggest threat right now is losing his big donors because he doesn't have any small donors. This isn't a movement with him. So he's just not connecting with the voters. And if he loses the big money contributors, then you're going to see other people move up to that 20% because he can't stay in.
In one-person race right now, and Trump's lapping the field.
Okay, Trump's lapping the field.
And they won't go find new voters. The other 19 candidates, they've got to go find new voters because that 30-40% of MAGA voters isn't leaving. They're not going anywhere no matter what. The problem is Donald Trump's going to walk in one of these courtrooms on the criminal side, and they're not going to let him walk out. I don't think he stays in the race. He's looking at least 2 other indictments probably by the end of August. It's going to be hard for him to manage traveling and sitting in a criminal courtroom. It just doesn't happen. And I do white-collar criminal defense work, representing elected officials who have been under indictment running for office. It is literally impossible. Every night he's thinking about going to jail and his liberty.